Right, okay. Chalo. Let me share my screen. No. Right, and let me go to the server. Okay. So Mintra data file, Mintra log file, you can see, guys. Okay. You can see it was created just now 8:18 p.m. 6:11 and you can see 8:18 just 2 minutes back. Okay. We just connected, right? Right. Any questions in creating the database now? Is it clear, everyone? If you ask me how to create this much discussion, not needed, guys. Simply right click new database, give the database name, that's it. Very simple to create database. Then what is the query to create? See, anything we can achieve with the help of query. Actually, SQL Server don't know GUI. Then how come it is executing? How come it is creating the database if it is don't know? Whatever we are doing at the end of the day, whatever we are selecting and all, okay, I want to give database name as Azure, okay, right, and SCA owner name is SCA. You don't know what is the query to create the Azure database, right? You don't know, we cannot remember, right? We can GUI we can see, if you see multiple times, 1 or 2 times, we can easily create next time. But query, if you want me to remember, it's very difficult. No one can remember that query. Okay, then what, without query you cannot create the database. Whatever you are doing now, your SQL Server, your GUI window will convert this into query, guys. Why? Because SQL Server don't understand GUI language. It will only understand queries. But you don't know what query you have to write. Then GUI interface will help you to query all your actions. Not only SQL Server. Even though you are doing Windows refresh on your local laptop, your laptop don't know what is refresh. But when you select refresh, one command will run in the command prompt. That command will refresh all the objects. Everywhere this is the same. You don't know command. You don't know command. What is the command to refresh the laptop? Okay. But you know only right click refresh. But when you do that, automatically a command will run in the backend. This is Windows architecture, guys. Then the SQL Server also same. SQL Server don't understand GUI. It will understand query only. Then if you ask me, sir, I want to get the query for this action. What I did, I gave database name, I gave SCA. Lot of other options also there. So what is the query, sir? If you ask me, select this script option. You can script out to a query window. You can script out to a file, clipboard, job also. Let's select. First one will be highlighted. Let's select, guys. Okay. If you select like this, right now in the back end, see, it is scripting. Okay, it is scripting. What query will run? If you ask me, sir, what query will run when I click on create database? See here. Okay, this much big query will run in the back end, guys. That window will simply prepare this much query. That's it. Okay, we don't know what we have to do to create the database. That window simply create a script based on your inputs. You gave Azure name, right? Azure. Data file name, Azure. Log file name, Azure underscore log. Compatibility level 140 as it belongs to SQL Server 2017. In which location it has to store? In this location. What is the physical file name? Azure.mdf, Azure underscore log.ldf. What is the initial size? 8 KB, 8 MB, sorry, 8192 KB. What is the file growth? 65 MB. Save. Okay, whatever options are there, all the things will be scripted out. And if you click this also, you can execute, guys, to create the database. See, you don't see Azure, right? Click execute, you can create database. Incorrect syntax near is equal to, just double click on this error. What is missing here? Growth size 8192 KB, right? What is missing here, guys? Why I got this is equal to error? File growth. Let me go and check here. I haven't edited anything, right? Name is equal to, this is 102, level 15, state 1, line 6. State 1, line 6. line 6, this is line 6, and state 1 message level 50 now. Which one is missing here, guys? Is equal to y times, let me execute again. Nothing, no issue is there. Okay, might be there is a small execution error. Sometimes you can see like that, guys. Okay, uh, this once the query is executed successfully, okay, then you can see the Azure database will be created, guys. Okay, the Azure database will be created. Where is that Azure database? I don't see, but it is showing command completed successfully.
Refresh.
Where is that? Guys, listen carefully. Whatever you are doing in the SQL server, you should habituate one thing, that is refreshing the SQL server. This is called refresh button. You can do it anytime, no issues at all. Refresh, refresh, refresh. How many times you want, you can refresh it. See here. Okay. So like this it will be. Sometimes what happened is, one guy took support from me. Okay. He's creating a database. He's creating a database. He created a database. Hello, command completed, successfully executed. But actually, he is doing that activity, and he just successfully executed that command, and it was successfully created the database. Later, he can't see the database. Okay, he immediately called me. Sir, I created database. It was executed successfully, but I don't see the database and all. I asked him, "Have you refreshed?" This is a common question. Will I know, right? Have you refreshed it and all? Ah, sir, yes, sir, I refreshed. Sometimes what happened, if you select this one and if you refresh, this security will be refreshed. Okay, if you select this one, this folder, and if you refresh, this will be refreshed. Always you have to select the server and you have to refresh. What he said, yes, sir, I refreshed. He might be selected something and he refreshed, so which is not showing the newly created database. And I was wondering what happened, why it is not showing, and it is showing clearly command completed successfully. Everything is looking good. No issues in the error log and all. Everything is looking good. It took 15 minutes, and again, uh, for the benefit of doubt, I just refreshed what happened. Let's see. Like that, I just refreshed. Then I will see the database. Sometimes these are very silly mistakes, guys. Very, very silly mistakes. Okay. And again, one more thing, don't, why I told you this example, don't believe anyone. Don't believe anyone. Okay. So whatever he's saying, yes, I did that. No. Ask him to share the screenshot or ask him to do it again. Don't believe anyone. Why? Because he might be in a wrong perception. He will guide wrongly. Okay. Sometimes not intentionally, but he also don't know. Okay, so this kind of things will happen. So there is no issue, database is created, but it's not refreshed. So we were able to see the databases and all. So it took almost 15 minutes. What happened and all, why it is not showing. So he said he refreshed, so I didn't refresh. Later, for the sake of like as a benefit of doubt, I just refreshed. Then I came to know. So this is how sometimes it will happen like this. And the example is like, don't believe anyone. Okay. The theme of this example is don't believe anyone. You have to see with your naked eyes. Okay, done, guys. Right. This is how. Then you might ask, sir, do I need to remember this much big query to create the database? No. Let me delete all these things. Okay. Let me delete. Done. It was deleted, guys. Okay. I just left this line as it is. Now, if I execute this query, what will happen, guys?
It shows error.
It
Error.
will show error. What is the error?
Object is already
Database
created.
already existed.
Very good. Okay. You will get an expected error. Object is already created. Okay. Azure already exists. Very good. Right. So I want to create Azure 2. Okay. You can create Azure 2, execute it, guys. Command completed successfully. And you can see here, refresh Azure 2. See here, in the last scene, you can see almost 200 lines coding is there to create a database. Now if you see, only 3 words of coding is there. What about other parameters? Can we create a database like this? Yes, we can create.
Default
Yes.
default
Whatever default things are there, everything will be provided by the SQL server. If you execute a query like this, don't think only these 3 words will be executed. SQL server will add all the default, like default path, default auto file growth is true, default file growth option. Whatever default options are there, all the default options will be internally added by the database engine. Okay, and someone asked me, what is that SQL OS? Actually, SQL OS will do all these things. SQL operating system will keep adding the parameters, default parameters to the existing query, and then it will execute, and only this database will be created, guys. Okay, so if anyone asked you to create a database, you can create database like this also. Create what you want to create. I want to create a database. What is the database name? This is the database name. That's it. Create database name. That's it, guys. This is the query to create the database. Any questions?
Sir, that means owner name will be default now.
Yes.
Yes.
Who is creating?
We
If
have
you
to
want to
change.
see, you can change it. See, I'll show you. Let me show you. If someone asks how to change it, double click on the data. No, just go to the properties of the database. You can see options space. There you can see, okay, recovery model and all. File space, sorry. Go to file space. There you can see owner. Okay, you can see who is created the database. He will be the owner. You can simply type SA and you can click OK. That's it. In this way, you can change the owner of the database. Again, if you want to see whether it was implemented or not, go to file space. You can see. Now SA is the owner. This way, you can change the owner of the object. Okay. Clear, guys? Any issues, any doubts?
Sir, one more question, sir.
Please.
Sir, you have once we create the database, by default 2 files will be created. One is MDF and another one is LDF.
Correct.
You have created NDF files. Just assume that you have created 3 NDF files. After storage is completed in the MDF file, then only it will
Yes,
use
correct. Correct. Good question. Very good question. See, always the preference will be MDF file. Once that MDF file is full, it will store the data to the MDF file. I have a quick question for all of you. Can I give adding files? Can I add files during database creation or after database creation also I can add the files?
After also you can add.
After also we can add. Okay, the answer is after also we can add. See here it is allowing us, right, to add. This was actually created, then it is still allowing us. So if this MDF file is completely full, then it will jump to next data file. If that second NDF file is full, it will jump to third data file. It will be organized in that way, guys. No, I don't want to store anything in this file. I want to block. I don't want to store any data in this MDF file. Actually, the best practice is MDF file contains metadata of the database. What is the database name? How many tables are there? How many columns are there? How many records are there? What is the size of the database? In which location it was stored? Like metadata will be stored in the MDF file. The recommended practice is people don't store the data in the MDF file, but no one will follow this recommended practice. 99% they will start loading the data in the MDF file. Some people very strict about the MDF file. They don't store any data. So what they will do, they will simply restrict. What they will do, if once the data file is full, you can there is a query, actually not in this way. There is a query. While creating the table, you can specify the file name or file group name so that your data file will be stored in the particular file group files, guys. There is another option also there. Let me show you. Go to file groups option. If what I'm going to do, I'll add one more file group. Right here, I'll make this file group as default, guys. Okay, if you make this file group as primary as default, always data will be stored in the default file group files first. If you change it to this, always whatever data you are inserting, always it will try to store in the FG1 files. Okay, let me go to files. Now let me add one file. Azure. Click here once. Azure underscore F2. Okay. Now if you see here, this file is going to be stored in the FG1. Okay. Actually, I didn't selected this FG1. Okay. But how I got this FG1? Can anyone tell me?
You have set default.
Correct. Very good. So in this case, if I add one more file also, you can see all FG1s only. Azure F3. So in this case, as file group is FG1, it don't store the data in the primary file group. It will start loading FG1 files file group. First it will load F2. Once this is F2 is full, then it will load F3. Like that it will keep loading the FG1 file group files, guys. This is how you can route the data to a specific file or file group. Clear? Right, fine guys. Chalo. This is how we'll create the database using GUI or command. Okay, let's create a table, guys. Now let's try to create a table. Now tell me guys, if you are creating one table, okay, you want to create a employee table, what fields, what columns you will include in that employee table? Tell me. You have a chance to create an employee table. What and all data you are going to track of the employees? What data you will track?
Employee ID.
Very
Employee
good.
ID name, salary, location.
Very good. Employee ID, employee name, salary, which is very important.
Address.
Location, address. Of course, it will cover under location. Or else let me keep it as address. Next.
Email ID.
Very good. Super. Email ID.
Department.
Department. Super. Department.
Salary.
Position.
Salary,
Position.
of course. Date of join. Okay. Very good. Position. That is also good. Blood group. Sorry. Blood group. Okay. Very good. That is also important. Blood group. Next. Sorry.
Gender, sir.
Okay. Very good. Gender. Next.
Contact number.
Mobile
Contact
number.
Mobile number, contact number. Very good. So these are the common details we are going to. We just decided, you know, what is the requirement, and you are able to tell all these columns and all. Column means, you know, right? Column means one vertical entity. You can call it as a column. This is the column. Column or field. Field. F-I-E-L-D. Field. Vertical entity in the table called column or field. Horizontal entity in the table called
Row.
very good, row or record.
Record.
Okay, so this is your column, guys. Employee ID is one column, employee name is one column, salary is one column. Okay, and this is your record. Okay, where you can see the proper complete information in the record, you can see, or in the column you can see the complete information.
Record.
Column.
Record.
Record.
Column will give you only specific information. Okay, if employee salary is there, you can see all employee salary, but that is a specific information. Whereas record will tell you what is the ID, name, salary, address, email ID. The whole information you can see under record or row. Okay, so this is how it will be. Row means this one. Record or row means this one. Field or column means this one. Okay, this one, which was highlighted one, or this one. You can see better there. This one is the column, guys. Right. So in the organization, actually, we don't create the tables. You might ask, sir, what columns I have to give, what column names I have to give. You will never create any table. Okay. In very rare cases, if developers asked us to create a table, we have a weapon. What is that weapon?
SQL language.
What is that?
Repeat the question.
If developers asked, hey, can you please create the table? You don't know how to create the table, what columns you want to give, you don't know. Then we have a common weapon. One weapon will be there. You can answer that. Or
Excel.
you can ask. Sorry?
Google.
We need to ask script.
Ah.
Service now.
Service now. That's okay. That's request. That's fine. Okay. You got a request, but if request is there, are you able to create table? You know what column names you want to give, you can give. What is the table name and all, you don't know, right? Then what you are going to ask?
We need to take script and execute.
Very good. We'll ask the script, hey, please give us the script. We'll execute that script so that it will create the table. We don't involve in creating tables and all. DBAs won't involve, guys. If anyone asked you, can you please create a table for me? Ask them, please give the script. We'll execute the script so that the table will be created. Okay. Right. So in the organization, we don't create any tables, but you should understand what is the table, how it will be stored, how the data will be pulled. Okay. You should understand, right? How to insert the records, how to delete the data, everything you should understand. That's why we'll discuss how to create tables and all. As per this logical hierarchy, what we should have, guys? If I want to create a table, what I should have? Logically, physically, what are the requirements?
Schemas.
Schemas, very good. Schema will be by default, one default schema will be created. So on physical, what is the physical prerequisites to store to create the table? Physical prerequisites, data files. It's already there, right? If data files is there, we have extension pages, right? Right. Fine. So we have the requirements. So let's create the table, guys. So what is the command to create the table? You want to create, right? For create, you have to use create command.
Table name.
Very good. Create. What you want to create? I want to create a table. Very good. Table name. Your table. Just mention it as a table. Of course, you have to give the name of the table, right? Table name is employee. Let's go with this, the employee only. Okay, let's go. Right now, what things you will include for employee as discussed? Table means it's a collection. What is the table
All
first
the
of all? What is the collection? What is the table first of all?
Collection of
Collection of rows
horizontal
and
and vertical entities.
Very good. Collection of rows and records. You can
Some
call it as a collection of columns and
columns and rows.
rows. You can call it as a table. This is one table. If you highlight the whole thing, okay, and up to here, if you insert any records, this is a table. Okay, collection of rows and columns. You can call it as a table. So you have to give column names, right? Rows, when you insert record, it will be created, but you have to give the column name, right? We'll give two or three columns, guys. Okay, right. How to give the columns? Open the brackets. Which column first I'll give? I'll give employee ID. Type employee ID. Don't give spaces in the column names and the like. Don't give it like this. Just give like this, employee ID. Right. Now you went to a shop, guys. You want to buy an oil. How you are going to ask that shop owner? How you will ask?
Later.
1 liter oil?
Ask the brand name.
Okay,
Now
brand
we
name,
have to
something.
mention the
Right, correct. Or else
size of
forget about the oil. Okay, you want to buy. Okay, nowadays everything converted into liters to kgs. This even foods also. That's okay. You want to buy rice. You cannot ask, hey, can you please give me 5 liters of rice, right? There is a unit for every quantity. There is a unit, right? Rice means you will buy in the kgs only. Okay, oil means either kgs or sometimes people will call in the liters also. Fruits, if you go to like Bangalore kind of location, okay, always any fruit is kgs only, not like dozen mangoes or dozen bananas and all. That's not there. off dozen and all not there. So there is a unit for every product. The same way, for every column, if you want to store data inside this column, you have to provide one unit. Employee IDs will accept what kind of data, what type of data. Okay,
Numeric.
very good, very good.
Numbers.
You can see numbers. You can see numbers and alphabets. That is called varchar type of data. Okay, so for every column you have to mention the type of the data, that is called data type. Okay, so if you want numbers, there is a data type called integer, column name and the data type. Yes, please, any questions? If no questions, please mute. Right. Right, guys. Okay. Done. So every column you have to include the type of the data, otherwise it won't accept. Right. Now employee name. Tell me guys what kind of data you will include, you will insert in the employee name column.
Varchar.
Yeah, generally those who don't know varchar, generally characters type of data will be there, right? But from our side, the names will be Shanmukh or Basha or Samir or okay, Lokesh or Santosh or someone. But from the UK, US side and all, if you go, what is this? George W. Bush 1, George W. Bush 2, okay, Junior, what is that? Something like that. And if you go to in UK also, names will be there 1, 2, 3 like that. Means in the name, please mute it. If you don't have questions, please mute it. And if you are trying to say anything, please let me know. Okay, done. So names, in the names, numbers also will be there. Okay, so that's why if you are giving both numbers and names, characters, both numbers and characters, you have to give varchar is a good option. Varchar how much? Say for example, my name is Shanmukh. SHANMUKH. Almost 8 characters are there in my name. Basha 5 characters. Okay, Santosh. How much? 7 or 8 characters. So like that, the name size may be different, depends upon the name. So what I'll do, I'll give 100. Sometimes very big names will be there, right? So again, you cannot change the column size and also that's why I'm giving 100. Okay, means up to 100 characters you can enter inside the name. Let's go with a salary. Salary, what type of data it is?
Integer.
Integer, very good. Integer you can give like that. Okay, but remember
money.
one thing. Yeah, remember one thing. We have a separate data type. We have for money transactions. Okay, instead of giving
I guess.
integer, yeah, instead of giving integer decimals and all, you can simply give money data type. There is a separate data type called money. Okay, you can give money, even though you are buying something. Okay, the product cost. If you just give cost of the item, okay, you can mention as money. We have a separate data. That's it, guys. You can mention like this. That's fine. 3 columns will create. We create table with 3 columns. Okay. Now listen carefully. What I have to do to execute this query?
Alt plus X.
Very good. Next.
F5.
What
Yes, sir.
precautions?
Sir.
Very good. F5. What precautions before executing query? What precautions we have to take?
We have to select, sir, that query.
Select query
Is it
F5.
mandatory?
Make sure which in
No, no need.
That-
Select.
No
If we
need.
not select, whole queries will be executed.
Nothing,
But
right?
there are
We have
no
only one
queries.
line, right?
Only one line is there, right?
Now no need to select the query. It's not mandatory. What is the major thing that we have to do?
make sure in which database it is going to be
Very good,
created.
very good, excellent, very good. You have to be very cautious in executing create, alter, insert, update, delete queries, guys. Select query is also fine, but select query is nothing. It's not a harm. It's not going to do any harm. If data is there, it will pull the data. If data is not there, you will get error. The data is object is not existed. Okay, but update query, insert query, delete query, by mistake if you executed it on one database, you're supposed to execute on one database, so you execute in another database, that will be your last day. Again, I am saying, whenever you are executing query, always check on which database it is executing. Make sure you are creating or deleting or updating or altering or dropping from that particular database. Again and again, I am saying, even real-time DBS also sometimes they will do mistakes, this kind of mistakes. But that's okay, as they are having experience, they can manage. But initially, if you do like this, it will be very difficult to you. Okay, so very careful thing on what database I'm executing this query. If application team said, hey, please execute in the Myntra database, then you have to select Myntra database and you have to execute this query in the Myntra database. Okay, so again I'm saying, whatever query you are running, before running, make sure on which database you are running that query. Very important thing, guys. If you forget this small thing, very small thing, definitely, okay, you have to like face the consequences and all. So I want to execute this in the Myntra. Okay, let me change it to Myntra, and as it's a single line, I can still execute. I can execute like this. And if you see here, Myntra, where I can see the tables under tables. Okay, you can see here employee. You might ask, sir, what is this DBO? What is this DBO, guys? DBO.employee, what is this?
It's a default.
Database object.
Schema, default schema.
Okay, someone said the
Schema.
database object. Yes, that is database object only, but that is the schema. I told you, right? Table will be stored
Table.
inside schemas. By default, if you create any table, it will be stored inside DBO. If you don't give schema name, by default, it will be stored in the DBO schema. So this first part is schema. Second part is your table name. Please mute it. Please mute it.
So
Please,
before
please.
creating table, do we need to create schema too?
It depends upon the requirement.
Okay.
It depends upon the requirement. Please mute it. Who is that? Okay, that's fine. If you're asking question. Okay. So yes, sometimes, but you might ask what schemas and all. But again, it's not our headache. You have to request. If application team don't tell any schema names and all, you can simply create the table. If they in the script, actually they will include. Okay, if they want to create a table in any specific schema, they will include in the script, so that you can simply blindly you can execute that script. Okay.
Sir, schema means extend.
Schema means it's a kind of a container. It's a storage unit, you can say. It's a kind of logical container. If you still expand this table, you can see columns. Okay, what columns are created and all you can see here. Employee ID, say name, salary columns. If any keys like primary keys and all created, you can see any constraints, triggers, indexes. We don't discuss all these things. This will come under development, guys. We don't discuss any development stuff in the classes. We'll discuss only DBA stuff. Indexes, statistics will be discussed during the performance tuning. Okay, right. So now I want to see, I just created a table, right? Now what I want to do, I want to see what is the data inside my table. I want to see what is the data is there inside this employee table. For that we have a query, guys. What is that query? Select query. Select. I want to see the whole data. Whole data means use star. Select star. Star means all the columns you can see. Whole data means actually it's not the correct word. Star means all the columns you can see. Select star from
employee table
table
name.
name. From where I want to see? From table name. What is the table name? Employee. Okay, now you are getting this. Right, very good. Now, if I execute this statement, as I have multiple lines here, so I want to execute only this line, so I am selecting this line. How to select this? You can just keep your cursor will be crossed. Just click once, automatically it will be selected. The whole line will be selected. Now if I execute this query, what will be the output, guys? I need answers from everyone.
Sir, it will show the columns and
It, show,
columns will
it shows the error.
Yeah, it throw the error.
error.
We have
Database is
data,
wrong.
maybe it will display.
Data
It will display the records inside the table.
will display the records inside, but there are no records, right? How come
These are comment
It will show column if it is.
it will show column?
Maybe
correct.
only column names.
Maybe column names, correct. It will show only column names. Empty data it will show. Okay, let's execute. We'll see the column names. Okay, done. You can see the column name. Invalid object name is one column inside the employee table. Why I got only one column? I created 3 columns, right? So what we discussed the last minute, what precautions you have to take?
Uh,
The
Database
database.
connection.
database. Maybe
Which database we are executing.
So is it
the
correct?
database is different. We have to select the
Yep.
Myntra.
Correct. Okay. So I just created my
We're in a
table in
wrong
the
database.
Myntra
Yeah.
database, but I am searching in the Azure database, Azure 2 database, which is very blunder. You just kept your bike keys in the bedroom. You are searching it in the bathroom. Just for the act example, I am giving bathroom, guys. Don't misunderstand. Okay. So this is how it will be. You just kept your keys somewhere, but you are searching the keys somewhere. It's not like that, right? You created your table in the Myntra database, but you are executing this query in the Azure database. How come you will get the data? It is throwing an error actually. Invalid object name means there is no such object. Object means table as discussed. Object means tables. Okay, object means table, guys. So which is very wrong. I can do in 2 ways. I can fix this issue in 2 ways. One way is Myntra. Select Myntra here and execute the query so that you can see the columns. Get employee IDs, employee name, salary, or else keep it as it is. Okay, you can fix in another way. Select star from database name Myntra dot schema name DBO dot employee. Okay, like this also you can execute. See here, you are getting the data. Or you can remove this DBO also, dot database name dot table name. Dot means by default it will take DBO schema. Guys, if your table is created in a separate schema, it won't work. If your table is created in the DBO schema, then no need to mention DBO schema name, simply give dot, then also you will get the data. If you don't believe me, let me execute some what I can see, select star from sales. Actually, there is no sales table, but I'm executing to get the error. Okay, then invalid object. Now let me execute this. Okay, so in this way you can get the data, guys. Either you can select the database here. I'm sorry, or you can run select star from database name dot schema name dot employee name. If the table is created in the DBO schema, you can simply give dot. You can simply give dot.